Foundation Season 3, Episode 5, Where Tyrants Spend Eternity, marks the halfway point of the show's current run, and Apple TV Plus' space opera's next 5 installments are shaping up to be incredible. Where Tyrants Spend Eternity is a brilliant mix of political thriller and sci-fi family drama. The adaptation of Isaac Asimov's Foundation books continues to introduce fresh ideas while keeping one eye on the source material. While Foundation's timeline can seem intimidating, Where Tyrants Spend Eternity is the latest example of the show starting to make its scale far more accessible. In short, what was already one of Apple TV Plus' best sci-fi shows is getting even better. Foundation's ambitious timeline finally feels like it's about to hit a huge milestone. The destruction of Calgan is a major turning point. Cassian Bilton as Brother Dawn in Foundation. The coming darkness that is set to envelop the galaxy, as predicted by Jared Harris Harry Seldon centuries before, has haunted Foundation's narrative since the first episode. However, it has understandably never felt like an immediate threat. Now, it certainly seems like the darkness is near. The radical tactics, by Garl Dornick, Lou Lobel, to use Brother Dawn, Cassian Bilton, that ultimately lead to Calgan's destruction feel like the kind of thing that only desperate people do when a crisis is lurking around the next corner. Garl no longer has the luxury of slowly training the second Foundation and must take action into her own hands. While the darkness has been announced as happening very soon, it's taken until Episode 5 for it to truly crystallize just how little time both Empire and Foundation have to act. I was always curious when the darkness presence would make itself properly known, and now I know the answer. The Mallows storyline in Foundation Season 3 won me over in Episode 5. Tauren and Beta become more humanized. Cody Fern as Tauren Mallow in Foundation. Cody Fern's Tauren Mallow and his wife, Beta Mallow, Sinbei Carlsen, haven't been great characters thus far in Season 3. While the show has done a great job at making them both seem like little more than entitled socialites, that hasn't been engaging enough for me to care about them all that much. Their return to Tauren's homeworld of Haven is what the newlyweds needed to earn their place in the story. Seeing where Tauren comes from makes him a character that's far easier to understand and appreciate, and seeing Beta's banter with her husband's uncle also fleshes out her character. Woven throughout their visit to Calgan is the implied importance of Magnifico, Maggie, Giganticus, Thomas Lemarquis, and the edge he could give the Foundation. Fans of Asimov's books will know just how important Maggie is to the story, and it's great that Apple TV Plus is putting its own spin on this massive upcoming twist. The mule's absence from Where Tyrants Spend Eternity isn't as harmful as you might expect. The long-awaited villain is barely in the episode. The mule with his eyes wide looking down in Foundation Season 3 Episode 2. The mule, Pilu as Beak, briefly appears in Episode 5, not much longer than his appearance last week. While the main villain being functionally absent from the story may seem like a bold choice, it actually works very well. The mule's rapidly earned and terrifying reputation bleeds through the galaxy at impressive speed, making him a formidable presence without needing to be visible. Plus, his reduced screen time creates more space to explore the concept of good and evil among characters loyal to Empire, the Foundation, and other parties. The scattered Cleons are surely beyond salvation in Foundation Season 3, and I love the drama of that. The Cleonic dynasty must be nearing its end. Brother Dusk looking concerned in Foundation. The 3 active members of Foundation's genetic dynasty have all been on vastly different paths in Season 3, and it's been my favorite thing to watch in the current run of episodes. While Brothers Day, Lee Pace, and Dusk, Terrence Mann, are limited to small roles in Where Tyrants Spend Eternity, it's still obvious that they aren't behaving as traditionally expected. However, Day's decision to flee his throne and Dusk's intense resistance to ascension pale by comparison to Dawn allowing himself to be manipulated by Garl. All 3 men end Episode 5 in positions that seem impossible to come back from, but I'm sure Foundation will find a brilliant way to either restore them to the story or extend their respective runs in other ways.